Hi, this is Jeff Zeig. Here I am in the offices of the Milton Erickson Foundation in Phoenix, Arizona, with another 5-minute tip for therapists. This is a series. This series is about orienting toward. We want the therapist to orient toward. In the last segment, I talked about metaphor. In this segment, I'm going to talk about simile. Now, metaphor and simile are figures of speech. If you say, the example that I've been using, you're a lion, that's a metaphor. If you say you're like a lion, that's a simile. Now, in order to help therapists be metaphoric, one of the things that I recommend is that they start to prompt themselves to use simile. When you get into the state of using simile, when you prompt yourself to use simile, it's easy to make a transition into using metaphor. So let's say that we're in a therapy situation and you want the client to feel more self-confident. Now, self-confidence is a concept, and you can't help somebody to realize a concept by giving them a paint-by-numbers approach, explaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that sequence, you'll feel self-confident. Self-confidence is something that needs to be realized. Having a good sense of self is something that needs to be realized. Feeling good about who you are as a mind, as a body, that's something that needs to be realized. Oftentimes when our client comes to us, they're not feeling that kind of self-confidence. So let's say that we want to build an associative net to self-confidence. And we're suggesting to the person that one of the things that you want to do this week is to make a record of moments where you're feeling strong, just like. So as soon as you come to the concept that you want the person to realize, you say, just like, and then you add something, whatever it is that you're thinking about, that may or may not be 100% accurate, but it helps to prompt you into the state of using simile, which can then prompt you into the state of being metaphoric, because metaphor is a stronger form than simile. And so you could, one of the things you may want to make a record about, one of the things you may want to journal, one of the things you may want to record in mental imagery as you go through the week is moments in which you're feeling strong, just like your feet are planted solidly in the ground. It wasn't a very good simile, but it was the first thing that I thought of at the moment. When I make that simile, I'd like to think, what is my state? What is it that I'm experiencing mentally, physically, gesturally, temporally, relationally, in order to get into that state more frequently, as if I can develop an anchor in myself for being in the state of using similes. Now, when I'm doing a hypnotic induction, I could do the same thing. Once I come to a concept that I want the person to realize, use a simile in order to make that concept come alive more conceptually for the person. As you go into trance, you can have a feeling of peace, just like you're a little child and you're in the lake or in the pool and you're floating on an inner tube and you're just letting yourself rest back into the support that's beneath you. And so this is what a good writer did. Any good writer would learn to use simile, would learn to use metaphor. Now, once you practice enough and you can feel yourself slipping into a state of using similes, then you just drop the it's just like, and you use the metaphor, which is a stronger form. In a previous series about metaphor, we talked about Shakespeare. Shakespeare had to be in a metaphoric state to do the incredible writing that he did. One of his most famous metaphors, Juliet is the sun. He didn't say Juliet is like the sun. Romeo says, what light in yonder window breaks, it's the east, and Juliet is the sun. And when Shakespeare is doing that, he's moving into the world of metaphor. Somehow he trained himself to be metaphoric. My clients, when I see them, they may say to me, that was a really impressive, important metaphor that you used in the last session. I don't even remember it because I'm consistently in the state of metaphor, being metaphoric, because I want my clients to realize concepts. This is Jeff Zeig with another 5-minute tip for therapists in the offices of the Milton Erickson Foundation in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you.